All right. So it was something I haven't done before. I don't know if I'm ever felt like I would be a good reviewer, so to speak, with this type of stuff, but this is kind of a random. I do a lot of sub-octave and octave stuff in my micro looping, but I've never really done a ton of it. I don't know, as part of my core tone maybe. So I figured I'd give something a try here. The Intelligent Harmony Machine kind of draws this line between a pog or a whammy or, just any sort of pitch shifter. So I figured I'd do kind of an unboxing thing, and I literally have not pulled this out of the box yet. It's going to be in the bubble wrap. Power supply's in there. I haven't even read whether it's 9 volts or not. It's got a wall wart. Wall warts don't necessarily mean 9 volts, unfortunately. But we're going to see what happens here. We're going to do it live. I have no plans for it. I don't know what to do with it. But I think for my ambient spacey stuff, it might actually be pretty cool. The interesting thing with a pedal such as this, if I can get this in a spot where there isn't glare or shadow, this is obviously not a new pedal. I'm going to put it right here. Now, the interesting thing about this pedal is that I can do either harmonies or I can do kind of detuning things, neither of which I typically do. But I think in this application it might work really well, or might make me play differently, which at this point would be pretty cool. I think that, let's take a look here. Most electro-harmonics pedals come with a battery in them, so let's take a look. Well, here you can test real quick whether there's a battery in there. Plug in the input. I don't see any light coming on when you plug in the input, so maybe there's no battery in it. Let's take a look. EHX stuff usually comes with a battery in it. And I don't want a battery in it since I'm using my Chox power supplies. Which, by the way, the Chox power supplies, I don't know if I've ever talked about them too much on this channel, have been outstanding. They're quiet. They're all the same power ratings, so you can run them at 9, 12, or 18 volts. All of the adapters to create more milliamps or to create more voltage are there. The extra power input on the DC-8 even can be used to power my deluxe memory man. All right, no battery. It's been a while since I bought since I bought a Electro-Harmonix pedal. Usually they come with a battery in them. Apparently not anymore, which is actually kind of cool, because I have a pile of weirdo 9-volt batteries that I've never used somewhere. All right, let me get this back plate on. I'm not going to bother with any Velcro or anything right now, because I'm not sure how I want to use this. Now, when it comes to signal chain, I think of the mistake a lot of people make with pitch shifters, and I don't know if I call it a mistake, but I think an obstacle a lot of people come face to face with a pitch shifter like this, or a harmonizer, or whatever the hell, what is this thing called? Or an octave pedal, is they'll have their tone stack set up, and then they'll put this thing after it. So the tone it synthesizes isn't treated with the same treatment. as the core guitar tone is. So you get this kind of harsh, synthesized sound coming out of it. So what I want to do with this, and forgive me, I'm just screwing this back plate on. I don't know if you can see it or not. These little feet are coming off of here as soon as I decide whether I want to keep it or not. But in my particular application, I have an EQ, whether it's this Pultec style, so this is the Spaceman Equinox, or it would be, for my, again, setup, it would either be this or, well, there's 3 different things I might use in this particular spot on my pedal board. Right now, I'm loving this because it adds a real creamy kind of smoothness to my guitar sound, regardless of what guitar I'm playing. So that's the Spaceman Equinox, but it could be also the Empress Para EQ Deluxe, or the BBE Barkusberry, what is it? Barkusberry Electronics Sonic Maximizer Pro, which is actually my favorite. But in this setting, I haven't found a good use for it, so I've been leaning on this Equinox. But in any case, when it comes to a pedal like this that generates tone, it's probably best to have, and at least we're going to find out right now, it's probably best to have those generated tones before your EQ stage, because then your EQ will shape the tones that it's generating the same way as it's shaping the tone of your guitar coming through it. And that, again, that's at least the idea I'm operating on. So let's get some power to this. Let's get this connected. All right, what is this? Some sort of weird power supply? Of course it's some weird power supply. Of course it is. In this day and age of electronic fucking shit, they give me some weird ass power supply, which I probably have the cable for with my Chox power supplies. 13. All right, so 13 is 9-volt power jack. 9-volt DC, center negative. Can be connected to the power, provide power without a battery. It requires 25 milliamps at 9 volts. Sounds pretty normal. Center negative, sounds normal. Doesn't sound like it needs anything different yet. I'm not going to force this in there. Oh, there we go. All right, so it's a very, very tight-fitting power supply. Felt like it didn't fit. Without being ridiculous, I kind of give it a little extra elbow grease, and it went in. Let's get some power to this. And then make the audio connections, and then we'll see what we got, huh? So I changed my camera angle here a little bit, only because my SSL6 has slowly become the centerpiece of this whole signal chain. I'm using it very conventionally now. So I'm taking channel 1. I have compression, EQ, the Tomcat Cloudy. I'm using the Spectral Madness mode on it, and someday I'll do a pretty deep dive on it, as well as the Nano Cortex. I'm using a JTM 45 capture, and I've actually created over here, I've created a dirty version of it. I love the Marshall JTM sound with a 412 cabinet, and then I'm going mono into channel 1 on the SSL6, and then within the SSL6, I'm using both stereo Q sends to create 2 effects loops over here. The first effects loop is really kind of an extension of what I call my core sound. which is the Starlight, or excuse me, which is the Infinity 2 from Pigtronics, into the Starlight. So I'm going mono into the Infinity 2, out of the Infinity 2 into the Starlight, and then stereo back into channels 3/4 on the SSL6. And then on the second stereo Q send, I'm going into the Cosmos. From the Cosmos, I'm going into the Microcosm, into the Galaxy, back into 5 and 6 on the SSL6. I did switch out. I have a bunch of interfaces, but I've got an SSL2 right now. I was using the Volt 276, and I also have a Volt 476. And the reason I have the Volt 476 is it has direct inputs which bypass the preamps in the interface. Now, why would I want that? Well, I've got, since I'm running my main signal through the inputs on the SSL6, I don't need the preamps on the SSL2 or my interface, because I've already got preamps in this little baby console here. But in any case, I've set it up so I don't really have to use any of the gain on the SSL2 or the 4K mode, and we'll see how it sounds. But in any case, let's set up this intelligent harmony machine, which is supposed to be the point of this whole video today. And I legitimately don't have a ton of experience with something like this. So the way I'm using this harmony machine is I'm going into the 1176 style compressor, into the fuzz, into the intelligent harmony machine, into the Equinox, Tomcat Cloudy, which is off right now, as you can see, into the Nano Cortex, running the JTM 45, into channel 1. I'm going to keep the Q send, the stereo return into channels 3 and 4 turned on, because that's part of my core tone. It adds a lot of flavor to things, as well as the Galaxy in channels 5, 6 on the input, which, as you can see, yep, you can see it. I have them both muted right now until I figure out what the hell this intelligent harmony machine does. Now, I've done a little bit of research on the various pitch shifting pedals, whatever the hell you want to call them. They all do the same thing. I don't care what you call them. I don't want it on momentary. But okay, so let's see here. Let's get the regular volume in there. I'm guessing noon is about unity gain. Okay, and then here comes the... Okay, so the thing with this one is, and it's, I've seen it described online as a downfall. For instance, I want to say is it TC Electronic Quintessence or whatever the hell it's called? It has all the different modes in it. I guess that makes things a little more convenient or a little easier, but if you know your relative majors and minors and you can make the adjustment in your head, for instance, let's see, I haven't even thought about it. So if I'm playing, that's interesting. I've never played this before, by the way. Okay, so let's go to A. My room is too dark. C, D, E, F, G, A. I do agree with some of the reviewers on this thing, though, is the pedal. The detents on the knob is kind of soft. All right, we're going to call that major Okay. So in the case of so I'll just play in standard major right now. Need a little more volume in my headphones. I'm not going to dig into the manual right now or look too close at it. I'm just going to run through and use my ears. Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be a little bit of a learning curve here. Alright, I just added in my first stereo loop. And I'm just running through the different settings. Normally I do a little more research, but this is kind of a wild card pedal, so there's I like that. Now ideally I should be able to turn the dry mix down and get a maybe I gotta do that in poly mode. See if we can add in a little cosmos here, little volume swelling. Oh yeah, it's very nice. That's a wrong note. That wasn't that's me. Yeah, it blends in very nice. Very easy to blend in. Actually, it feels good to play, if that makes any sense. I wondered whether it would. Let's get the cloudy in knobs till it sounds good, and then just having a little fun. Earlier, whereas you might think another pedal that has all the different modes might be more useful if you know, for instance, A major, natural major is the same as F sharp minor. So I shouldn't have to change anything. If I create a drone off of the F sharp minor, I should be able to play over it using the exact same note. So let's see. Building a pad off of F sharp minor, but I'm still set on the A major setting. Again, because F sharp minor is the same as A major. It's a relative minor to A major. Now, alternately, again, if you know your modes, B Dorian is the same as A major. C sharp Phrygian is the same as A major, etc., etc. If you know how the modes fit together, you don't need to have it learn all of the different modes for you. You just need to apply the theory to your given application. So again, here we are. I went from A major to F sharp minor, and it sounds to me like it's just fine with, let's just try my dirty sound. Yeah, it blends very nice. Whatever setting this is, what setting is this? This is setting number 7. Whatever setting 7 is in A major, playing in F sharp minor. Is processing the synthesized sound, which kind of takes that harshness away. Gives it a much more natural feel, I think. Yeah, it's very nice. So I'm not going to goof around with this too much more. I just wanted to do an unboxing, see if it sounded all right, and personally, I'll let you be the judge. I'm about to do a little jam, but I'm not even going to mess with other settings, see if I can find anything else. I'm going to stay in F sharp minor, and I'm going to mute my mic, and I'm going to leave this drone, and I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to create a little rhythm here. And play out a little bit. So, Intelligent Harmony Machine, Electro Harmonics. It also has the poly mode where I can use it as just a pitch shifter rather than a harmonizer. Again, though, even with the momentary switch, I can use it a little bit like a Digitech whammy pedal. Who knows? I've never used one before. Not too interested in it. But look at the small footprint, and Electro Harmonics does a good job at this. Who who knows? I might be in the mood one day to use it. So this is one of those wild card pedals that's actually kind of cool, and I don't know if I call it inexpensive, but fairly easy to mess with. So I'm going to hit mute here and then create a little rhythm in the background and play out. So enjoy. Good thing I wasn't looping that. That was a pile of shit. There you go. Quick unboxing, first look, Electro Harmonics Intelligent Harmony Machine Harmonizer, whatever the hell they call it. Whatever setting I ended up with here, just off the bat out of the box, setting 7. Pretty kick-ass. I'll probably mess with this for a while until I decide, what else can this thing do? So